Ordinary people follow rules. Powerful minds write them, then bend them. These 18 dark strategies aren't taught. They're passed in silence between those who win. Once you understand them, you'll stop seeking validation and start demanding results. This is where genius becomes dangerous. Music. The most dangerous prison is the one that lets you choose your own cell. Limited options aren't freedom. They're the illusion of control. And by the time you realize it, you've already walked in, locked the door, and called it free. Will. This is Law 31 of the 48 Laws of Power. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. The most powerful people use this tactic on you, and you don't even realize it. It's called limited option control. They give you 2 options, tell you to choose one. But in reality, they wanted you to pick the second one all along. And without knowing, you do exactly what they wanted. That's how people get you to do things you never actually wanted to do. By making you believe you had a choice. They manipulate you by offering limited options and controlling your decisions. That's why if someone wants to ruin you, they start offering you options even for your bad habits. Because deep down, they're not helping you. They're manipulating you for their gain. They're not your friends. They're your hidden enemies. So listen less to people. Listen more to your parents. And most of all, listen to your own heart. People don't follow truth. They follow the one who makes their lies feel noble. This is Law 32 from the 48 Laws of Power. Play to people's fantasies. The truth is too bitter for most minds. It requires awareness, accountability, pain, but fantasy. That's easy, sweet, addictive. People aren't looking for reality. They're chasing a story that makes them feel important, powerful, special. And if you can mirror that illusion back to them with precision, you own them. Not by force but by permission. They'll follow you, praise you, defend you. Because in their mind, you are the hero of the dream they never had the strength to build alone. That's why powerful people don't sell truth. They sell identity. They sell what people wish was true. And when you step into someone's fantasy, you control the frame they live in. But don't ever believe the lie yourself. Create illusion, but led with cold, brutal clarity. When you want to break a locked door, you don't use force. You find the weakest hinge. This is Law 33. Discover each person's thumb screw. Everyone has one. A soft spot, a hidden fear, a deep desire they try to cover up. Most people don't know their own weakness, but their reactions reveal it. They flinch when mocked, get angry when ignored, overexplain small things. That's not random. That's data. You're not here to overpower people. You're here to understand what already controls them. Because once you find that one emotional pressure point, you don't argue. You don't convince. You just press and they bend. People can resist logic, but they can't resist their own fears or fantasies. That's why powerful people listen more than they speak. This law isn't about being cruel. It's about being precise. Find the weak hinge and the whole door opens. When a lion walks, it doesn't ask permission from sheep. This is Law 34. Act like a king to be treated like one. Respect isn't given. It's assigned by how you carry yourself. If you act small, unsure, or too eager to please, people will believe you're beneath them. But if you move like you expect power, speak less, walk slow, own silence, they adjust to you. You don't need a crown. You need posture, presence, energy. It's not about arrogance. It's about self-positioning. Even if you're broke, even if you're unknown, act like your time matters, like your words carry weight. And over time, they will. Because people treat you based on the value you broadcast, not the value you quietly wish they'd see. Act like a king, and the world will start handing you a throne. Act like a servant, and they'll make sure you stay. 1. You don't pull fruit off the tree. You wait until it falls into your hand. This is Law 35. Master the art of timing. Power isn't just about what you do. It's when you do it. Most people rush. They speak too soon. React too fast. Try to win before the game has even started. But the powerful are patient. They watch. They wait. They let others burn out, make noise, reveal weaknesses. And when the moment is perfect, they strike once and it's over. Timing is emotional control. If you can, delay your response, hold your fire. Stay still while others panic. You look like a strategist because you are. Impatience is the language of the powerless. But precision, that's what builds empires. You don't need to chase opportunity. If you stay sharp, it will crawl to your feet. Learn to pause. Because the right move at the wrong time is still the wrong move. When a dog barks at the king doesn't bark back. This is Law 36. Ignore what you can't control. The weak chase. They overreact. They obsess over what's slipping away. But the powerful, they don't beg. They discard. When something or someone is out of reach, beneath you or trying to provoke you, don't react. Erase it with silence. Attention is currency. And the moment you spend it on insults, losses, or petty drama, you've already lost. Why? Because now you're reacting to what should be irrelevant. That's what powerless people want to pull you into. Their chaos and call it competition. Don't play their game. Play your own. One where silence is punishment and disdain is deadlier than revenge. They can't win if they can't get your attention. And nothing terrifies a noisy enemy more than being ignored like they never existed. When you control the spotlight, you control the story. This is Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. Power isn't always quiet. Sometimes it demands theater. Not to impress, but to distract, influence, and dominate. Perception. Most people are led by sight, not thought. Logic fades, but images burn into memory. That's why the powerful don't just move. They make their movement unforgettable. A silent gesture, a dramatic exit, a symbol that speaks louder than any speech. Because once you create a moment that feels larger than life, people stop thinking. Critically, they start watching. Emotionally, you don't just influence them, you become the experience they remember. It's not manipulation, it's optical warfare. Control what they see, and you'll control what they believe. And when belief bends, behavior follows. If you're loving this video and you're drawn to dark psychology, emotional mastery, and mind control strategies, I created something for you. It's called The Whisperer's Power Bundle, a vault of every ebook I've released and every future one I'll ever create. You'll get instant access to deep, dangerous knowledge on intelligence, manipulation, control, and mental transformation, all in one place. So, if you're serious about rewiring your mind and becoming someone they can't manipulate, click the link in the comment and welcome to the other side. A wolf survives longer in sheep's clothing than with bared teeth. This is Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Never reveal your true mind too soon. The world punishes what it can't label or control. So, if your thoughts are sharp, radical, or dangerous, hide them. Not out of fear, out of strategy. Blend in. Smile when they joke. Nod when they lie. Let them believe you're one of them. Because the moment you look too different, you become a threat. Even if you've said nothing, people fear what challenges their illusion of normal. So let them underestimate you. Let them feel safe around you. And then when the moment is right, move like the mind they never saw coming. This law isn't about cowardice. It's about survival. Real power wears a mask until it no longer needs one. If the water is clear, the fish see you coming. Muddy it and they swim right into your net. This is Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. Calm minds are hard to manipulate. But when emotion rises, logic drowns. That's why the powerful don't always strike directly. They disturb the surface. They create confusion, tension, doubt. And while others react, argue, and unravel, they wait and watch. When people are angry or desperate, they reveal things they normally hide. They expose their plans, fears, and weak spots. This law isn't about chaos for chaos's sake. It's about weaponizing emotion. So, if you want control, don't chase clarity. Create controlled confusion. Because no one can hide their truth when they're unbalanced. Agitation opens doors that logic can't. And the one who keeps his calm in a storm he created owns the battlefield. The moment you eat from another man's table, he owns your hunger. This is Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Nothing is ever truly free. Every favor has a hook. Every gift is a leash, wrapped in kindness. The weak jump at handouts, free advice, free praise, free comfort, because they don't understand. This, what's given too easily owns you. Silently, the powerful buy their freedom. They pay full price to stay untouchable, because the moment you depend on someone else's generosity, you stop moving on your own terms. It's not about pride. It's about position. If you want to rule, never build power on borrowed ground. Pay your way. Own your tools. Invest in your own rise. Because those who feed you can starve you. And when the time comes, you'll realize the most expensive meal was the one you thought was free. If you try to fill a giant's shoes, you'll spend your life walking in his shadow. This is Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. Never try to replace a legend. No matter how skilled you are, you'll always be compared. The world remembers the original, not the copy. Step into their place, and every move you make feels smaller, weaker, less alive. You're not here to follow their path. You're here to erase it and build your own. Start from a new angle. Create a new energy. Be unpredictable, unrepeatable, untraceable. Because when you try to imitate a great man, you inherit their limitations along with their legacy. And the shadow of a powerful name can become your quiet prison. This law isn't about disrespect. It's about escape from expectations, from comparisons, from ghosts. You weren't born to follow. You were born to reset the throne. Don't waste bullets on the army. Take out the general and the war ends itself. This is Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Every group, every movement, every threat has a source, a leader, a voice that keeps the weak united. You don't fight the crowd. You isolate the one who commands it, the loudest, the most influential, the one they trust, fear, or follow. Because when the leader falls, followers lose direction. They turn on each other. They crumble without needing force. This law is not about violence. It's about precision. Influence flows from the top down. So corruption begins by removing the root. Don't argue with the mob. Don't defend yourself against noise. Strike the source and silence follows. Take out the shepherd and the sheep will find cliffs all by themselves. If you hold their minds, you won't need their permission. This is Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. Control doesn't start with chains. It starts with emotion. You don't need to force people when they feel like following you. You get inside their fears, their pride, their hidden wounds and silent desires. And once you do, you guide them without touch. Make them feel seen. Make them feel important. Make them feel like you understand what no one else does. Because when someone feels emotionally understood, they'll do anything to keep that feeling alive. This law isn't about being fake. It's about being precise. Don't win with logic. Win with gravity. Speak to their heart to own their mind. And when you have both, you don't lead by force. You lead by influence. They mistake for loyalty. The fastest way to unbalance someone is to become their reflection. This is Law 44. Disarm and infuriate. With the mirror effect, people expect opposition. They're ready to argue, to defend, to resist. But when you mirror them, their words, their tone, their energy, you confuse them. You remove the fight by becoming the echo. And in that confusion, you gain control. Mirror their arrogance and they start doubting themselves. Mirror their anger with calm, and they look unstable. Mirror their strategy and they feel exposed. This law isn't about imitation. It's about psychological disruption. When people can't predict your reaction, they lose rhythm. They lose power. Because now, they're not fighting you. They're fighting themselves. You become the reflection they can't manage. And soon, they'll either retreat or unravel. Even a starving man will spit out the food if it tastes too unfamiliar. This is Law 45. Preach change, but change slowly. People say they want change, but what they really want is control over the change. Too much too fast, they panic. They rebel. Not because your idea is wrong, but because it threatens their comfort. The wise leader doesn't force evolution. He disguises it as tradition. He introduces change like it's restoration, not revolution. Let them believe it's their idea. Let it feel familiar, even when it's dangerous. Because if you move too quickly, even the people you're trying to help will fight you. Change is a slow poison, sweet enough to swallow, strong enough to shift. So lead the transformation. But let them think they're walking the same path. That's not deception. That's strategic survival. If you shine too bright, don't be surprised when they pray for your eclipse. This is Law 46. Never appear too perfect. Perfection is a threat. The moment you appear flawless, untouchable, above all criticism, you become a target. People won't admire you. They'll resent you because your existence reminds them of everything they're not. The powerful understand this. They show small flaws on purpose. They admit a mistake, reveal a weakness, share a struggle, not because they're weak, but because it keeps the mob calm. Too much brilliance blinds people, so they close their eyes and sharpen their knives. You don't have to dim your power, but you must learn to manage its glare. Leave room for envy to breathe, or it will turn into fire. And remember, you're safest when you're seen as strong but still human. A hunter doesn't keep shooting after the prey is down. Only a fool turns victory into noise. This is Law 47. Know when to stop. Power tempts you to take more. You win once, so you push again. You gain respect, so you demand worship. But every step past the mark you aim for puts your entire empire at risk. Because the moment you overreach, people no longer admire you. They plot against you. The wise don't celebrate in noise, they win in silence, then disappear before envy wakes up. This law isn't about playing small. It's about knowing when to pause. Mastery is restraint after success. Don't squeeze the victory until it bleeds. Don't turn a win into a war. Strike, secure, step back, because the most feared leaders aren't the loudest ones. They're the ones who knew exactly when to vanish. Water never loses because it never stays the same. This is Law 48. Assume formlessness. The moment you define yourself, you give the enemy something to aim at. A label, a shape, a pattern. And patterns can be predicted. Predictions can be crushed. So the powerful learn to adapt constantly. They don't cling to identity. They don't get addicted to a method, a role, or a style. Because what stays still dies. And what can be tracked can be trapped. You must remain fluid, unstable, evolving, unreadable. Let them expect the king, but meet the ghost. Let them prepare for fire and be the cold. This law is the final law because it contains them all. Invisibility, timing, strategy, power. Don't be the sword, be the shadow behind it. Because when you're formless, you are untouchable. This was the last part of the 48 laws of power. But if you've truly been listening, you know this series wasn't just about laws. It was about awakening. Awakening the part of you that no longer wants to be controlled. Which of these 18 laws hit you the hardest and why? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's see how many of you are just watching, and how many are actually waking up. I'll be reading everything. The sharpest minds always reveal themselves in silence. Then strike in the comment section.